Hello, welcome. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the Streamathon 2025-2026. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm happy to see everybody here. I'm just adjusting my StreamYard. So here we go. So welcome again if you're watching these later on, like delayed. Welcome also. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel. Planning to be a little bit more active this year with streaming. That's what I want. But, well, it all depends on the job. So, for anyone new, I'm streaming from Mexico. I'm in Querétaro, a city that is more or less 2 hours and a half driving north of Mexico City. And it's a growing place. And we have a lot of industry, a lot of new companies coming. We are connected in central Mexico to a lot of touristic destinations. And we have an international airport that connects the USA and Europe with a direct flight to Madrid. So, whenever you want to come and visit, it's less chaotic than Mexico City still. Okay, so happy New Year to everyone. And this stream is planned to show you just some tips and tricks for your coloring books and your coloring pencils. So welcome everyone. I want to say hello to everyone that is in here. So Anne Reed, this is Gigi, Auntie Coffee and Crafts, Caffeine, okay, Auntie Caffeine and Crafts. Then we have also Carol. We have Play Guys or I don't know how to pronounce your name, Thunder, and so happy to see you all. And if you're ready to get started, here we go. My screen is blank. I normally start like that. And I'll be here for around 2 hours. And after my stream, we're going to jump to Mama Juju's. So later I'll drop her channel in the comments to see her channel and follow. So this is my third year participating in the Streamathon. Happy to do so. Normally I don't have a lot of time to stream, but as I mentioned before, I want to kind of stream a little bit more. Okay. So hi Michelle. Then we have Casey. Thank you very much. Okay. And well, let's get started with the most important thing in coloring. Your books, your coloring books. And within your books, the first thing you have to find is the paper. We have awful Amazon paper like this one, but that doesn't mean that you cannot use these books. What I don't like is the paper is so thin and you can get to see through the images, so you have to protect them quite much. But you can do beautiful things on this paper, even if it's Amazon paper. Then you have printer paper, which is also very, very complicated to use, but not impossible. And of course, my recommendation is to go for authors that have got good paper, thick paper. This paper is quite good, it's thick. You can use gouache, you can use acrylics, you can use a lot of things. And also, Kirby Rosanna's books are good paper. But the idea today is to show you that it doesn't matter the paper that you use, you can always do good with your coloring. Another thing that is important is the material that you use. I strongly recommend not to use good pencils like Prismacolor Premier or polychromas in Amazon paper or printer paper. Not that I want you to be discouraged. I think that material is really good, but it ain't worth it. I mean, Prismacolor Premier, Caran d'Ache, Holbein, polychromos are meant to be displayed in extreme conditions. So that's a good thing. So thank you for the people who are joining. We had April, then who else I checking here? Tina, I had it before. Yeah, I don't have a lot of color books. I will show you something later, but right now I just want to concentrate in. I have a previous video during the weekend. I streamed, I got you kind of ready for this. And something that you can use is get all your color pencil supplies, get cardboard like this one that is bristol cardboard, and try to see how the color performs. So here I have, for example, very, very cheap colors, Office Depot. Then I have Faber-Castell. I have some Prismacolor, very, very cheap Mexican brand called Mapita, like saying Little Map. And then all the different things that you can use to blend. The original blending with different colors, baby oil, Vaseline, we have blender markers, we have the burnishers or the blenders. I have their one, Lyra, and white pencils, and turpentine. So that's your material. This is another one for more colors. Prismacolor's color. There are some sets that I don't have anymore, so this one is not kind of needed. So there you go. Yeah, I tried to put my volume totally down, and I hope that the echo diminishes. I have all my devices off except for my computer, so I can only listen to myself here. Recently, I have fallen in love with Starjoy. I eliminated the trays and I keep them in bundles like this. So I think this is quite good. No tray, plastic trays. This is what we have. I have in the last year practically just colored some AI coloring images, trying to get them in order. And if you open my description, I have a link for 3 images that if you want to color along, you can follow me. So this is the first image that is linked. It's a Google Drive. This one is printed on cardboard. This one is also linked, printed on recycled paper. I also have the credits. And this one is also on recycled paper. So I normally tend to speak much when I'm coloring. I tend to concentrate. But if you have questions or something, we're welcome to answer your questions. I have more images, but I'm going to put them aside for a moment, and I'm going to give you some recommendations if you want to use images like this. First of all, I prefer to support real artists, people who literally sweat ink in using their materials. Mm, why? Because I draw myself and I think that it's a very good idea to support their work. These are freebies that I get from Facebook, and I'm not planning to buy artificial intelligence generated books. All of them are freebies for them like that. What else I can tell you about my preference for coloring books? Um, when you support a real artist, um, kind of stop feeding artificial intelligence for profit. And one of the things that I also love about having real artists is that in the future, AI will just disappear as a trend and we will go back to original art. Okay, so what would you like me to start with? Hi, Brenda. Welcome. I have options for fur, skin and clothing, this face that is so cute. And I also printed some tracings for portraits. You can use all different materials in around 1 hour, 15 minutes, more or less. Okay. So let me get started with the girl. Another recommendation for your prints, go to a place where they have good quality ink. These are from my own printer, but I went to a local stationery some weeks ago to try and print material, and it was terrible. First of all, the print quality was not good. You can get to see this line here. You can also, with colors, get rid of that, but you can get to see that the prints have this odd line here in the middle. So, and this is regular printer paper. So we'll try to work in coming streams with that. And if you want to get started with skin, this is linked in my description. You'll go to a Google Drive and you can print it. Probably Office Max, Office Depot have good inks, and they are not that expensive. There we go. So hi again to everybody. Thank you for coming in. It's 8 p.m. here in Mexico where I am. And we are getting ready to start coloring. Okay, first recommendation, evaluate your paper. When you know the type of paper you're printing on or the coloring book that you're using, then it's much better to use your materials. For this one, in some parts, I'm going to use alcohol markers. For alcohol markers, it's much better to have a very smooth surface. It's much better. The marker will not bleed to the sides that much. And as Peter says, yeah, it's much better. It's a big investment because the cartridge is not really cheap, but they're also good in the end. My swatches are not as elaborated as Janet's and beyond. She's the queen of reverse swatching, in my opinion. But I kind of use thick cardboard to protect your work. I'm going to be using also some plastic. There you go. And try to enjoy your material. Don't worry if you make there's not just worry about different. It's a good idea to test your markers So I have to remember to stay on camera. But anyway. And I'm going to start with some marker and flowers. I'm going to be putting this up to show you. Keep the edge moving around so it doesn't leave any marks. And I love these kind of effects with markers. I don't stick to one single medium. I go around and mix everything that I can to see what I can produce, what kind of effect, new things, you name it. We might not be able to finish a complete coloring page today, even if it's like 2 hours, because I want to show you different things. Okay, so just scribble down your marker. This paper, it's very glossy. It's used, I think, for um, cards or something. No, let me just close this one from my computer. It's of course in Spanish, but I think you have something equivalent in English. In Spanish, it's called opalina. I think it's opaline. It's very smooth. It's 100% white, and it's very good for markers in case marker paper is out of your budget because that's so expensive. For markers, Copic is like the Formula One marker. Ohuhu, good option, but it's become really, really expensive. So I get some Chinese markers at the local Chinese stores. And these were, I think, less than $2. So if they dry, I really don't worry. If you use a paper with a lot of texture, like watercolor paper or cardboard or Bristol or something like that, your ink is going to be like sucked into the paper, and you're going to need to replace your markers more often. So it's not a good idea. If they are replaceable, good option. Now, I think I have a yellow one for this flower. I'm going to be moving my paper to different angles. You can get a towel, paper towel, to cover drawing as you work. So you kind of smear it around. Hi, Kimberly, coming in. Welcome. But I'm using this digital globe for digital illustration. Get it on Amazon. Here, quite cheap. I have one for my regular coloring and one for my digital, for my tablet. Okay, so I'm ready to show you a little bit on how to color. The skin is not really complicated. The only thing that you have to do is become a very good observer. Try to get and see how the skin works with the different types of light. And what else I can tell you about skin? Reflected light is also important. I have this pencil case with all my skin colors. So I have the Faber-Castell Skin Sub. These are the Black Edition or EcoSoft. In Latin America, we have EcoSoft, but Black Edition is the same. I have the Crayola Colors of the World, and I have a Colour Portrait set. And I decided to put them all together. So if I'm going to color skin, I have everything here ready. But my favorites for big areas are these. The Lyra skin tones. I mean, pencils, they are just so thick. They're awesome to cover surfaces like the face that we're going to cover. So I'm going to start with light colors. I'm going to start with the 432 and 408. I'm going to show you here. So the 482, 432. They are the light skin tones. I like to work light to dark. My favorite things to do. Some people work mid tones and then they go the other way around. Now, for color pencils, the secret is in the blending. I have to be very patient. What you can do is start with small circles. Don't use a lot of pressure. Very soft, like if you're kissing the paper. Remember that this paper is very smooth. So it's not going to take so many layers if you lay down with all your force. It's going to limit the number of layers and it will become waxy. Because anyway, that's the idea of color pencils. They are waxy and we have to work in small circles. I don't cover all the face. I kind of leave some areas without this first color that is very light because over there I'll be using a darker shade. So what I just want is just a very, very thin, light one, kind of leave in some areas white, so I don't have to saturate my paper that much. Okay. By the way, sorry if I made some mistakes with vocabulary. Especially, I'm not good with prepositions, so sorry about that. Sometimes prepositions get me confused. I've been speaking English for all my life, I can say. And my regular job is teaching language arts. So, foreign language, that's what I do at university. So, if I make a mistake, I'm so sorry. It's very early. I went to bed late at night. There were a lot of fireworks, and my kitty cats were a little bit scared due to the noise. So, my brain is not fully in English mode. That will be full English mode next Monday when I go back to university to prepare the new term. So I know that you can probably won't be able to see very, very light layer because that's the idea. Small little color. I'm trying to or try to concentrate in one small area at a time. But I tend to be very messy when I color. And when I say messy, is that I go to different areas as I get bored with a particular area, then I go to another one. If you're going to use markers for big areas like this, work fast, keep your edge wet and fine. Oops, just dropped my color. Not from a high place, just on my desk. Okay, so here you go. You can also work with small lines, and I truly hope that you can get some tips around. Okay, this layer done. Now a little bit darker color in the darker areas. Not so much. We're building colors and layers as we work. Hello, Don. Come on in. Welcome. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a great celebration some hours ago. Did you have your resolutions in place? I don't like making resolutions. I never do them. So I kind of skip that part. So I'll be working a little bit around her face. This is an image by James Stan. I got it from um, free printable pages on Facebook group. And this guy really produces very, very interesting images. He is very good at prompt creation. That's the secret for AI generated images. But here we I hope it's not that cold where you are. My city is cold, not that cold. We have actually very crazy weather in winter. We have to dress in layers. We are quite cold early in the morning, close to 32 or maybe 34 Fahrenheit. And then midday, we can go up to probably 70, if I'm correct. I'll say between 60 and 70 Fahrenheit. So it's really, really hot at 12 or 2 p.m. and then early morning or early afternoon or at night it tend to be quite cold. Okay, so this is building. If I don't get to finish any of these kind of sample colorings, I'll be updating them with shorts on my YouTube channel and my Instagram. You have got my Instagram handle down there scrolling. So you're welcome to follow me there. I'm kind of more active on Instagram than in any other social network, and I prefer it. So, okay, there you go. I'm going to try and concentrate in this area of the eyes so you can get how it feels color. Now, for the eyes. For the eyes, I like to use water-based markers. This set is great. I love it. So you have these pens. There are sets with 120 colors, 72 colors, but I find that this one is very, very comfortable. And I like to use very light colors for the eyes. I like the tips. There's a broad tip and there's a fine tip. And for the eyes, bit of a touch of green. I'll show you half the way how it's looking. There you go. And we're going to do kind of a retouch of the eyes later on with color pencils. Okay. So as we're here, we're going to build some more colors there. I'm going to jump to my skin tone of the Star Joy Gold. Someone in previous streams asked how I choose my color palette. I normally use online sites. I don't have the color cubes, for example, or I don't have Pantone charts. I don't have space to keep them. I mean, the color cubes are just great, but they are so big and take so much space that rather not. I'm using kind of a beige color right now. I did even the shadows. When you use grayscale images, it's much easier for a beginner because you get to understand where the shadows go. And after some practice with this gray scale coloring, then you can jump into your own um, coloring. When you work with coloring books, you know, you have the grayscale, you have the ones that are just the outlines. Some of them have kind of gray outline, few books. Some of them have kind of a harsh black outline. Just work with what you have. Don't aim for realism if you're a beginner. And in general, I go for realism in general. Okay. Thank you, Don. This is by James Stan, and in the description you have an image if you want to print it. Um, Try to observe how light and color play with each other in your real life. When you are a little bit bored, try to see objects through different light. Artificial light is not going to give you the same color as sunlight, so that's a very interesting thing to do. Now I'm using sienna color. I'm not going to be worrying so much about reflecting light, but you can get to see that the light is coming from this side. Okay. Use reference photos when you're trying to do your coloring pages, not to copy exactly the shadow and light, but just to go around and figure out how your image is working with this. Now, what about hair and eyebrows? Well, in general, I tend to use lighter browns and I have different sharpeners. Um, I don't like deep points, but sometimes they are necessary. And for hair, just try to do some light strokes in the direction of the hair. It's much better. Hi, Kat. Thank you for coming. Have a great morning. It's much better to have light pressure than just something really strong. So very, very light pressure. Keys your paper. Not just one color. We're going to be building the eyebrows and the hair little by little. I have like 3, 4, 5 different pencil sharpeners around. This one, and I've got the Japanese one, which is, but here you go. Hi, Pew. Welcome, coming in. I love your coloring books and all your techniques. I wish I had more time to color. But as you probably figured out, as a university college teacher, part-time teacher, I work 6 hours every day. I don't get to have a lot of free time to do a lot of handicrafts, but here we go. This is what I normally do: color books, print, kind of to relax mind down. Okay, I want to do something darker for the eyes. So I'm trying to see if this color is a gel or not. I'm going to go a little bit bold with some of the colors that I have here. And use this big one to add a little bit more a darker shadow here. Not so much to kind of resemble makeup, because that's not the idea. But here you go. Another good tip that I can give you, and I use this tip especially because I don't have like a studio or a working area or a room to craft or color. My studio, I'm going to put it like that. It's just a desk very close to my bedroom, and I keep everything in boxes, and I go take out the things that I need and I put them back. So normally what I do is that I take photos of the material that I'm using. So I make sure, to give an example, I make sure I take a photo with my phone and of what I'm using. So if I have to put everything away, I can always take it back. So I'm not planning to finish all her face today. I'm going to show you all different tips and tricks that I use. I don't stick to just color pencils or markers or something. I just go and play around with everything that I have. Art material is generally expensive in my country, as the majority of the good brands, professional brands, are imported. So I tend to really, really think about what I have to buy or what I want to buy. There are a lot of people who use, for example, stencils and pan pastels for stenciling around. I don't have a lot of stencils. I don't have pan pastels. They're on my wish list, and eventually I'll get them. So I'm putting this up and close so we can get to see. I don't have my Prismacolor Premier. They're in a different box. But I'm going to try and shade a little bit of her eyes here with a little bit of this more number. Going to more or less markers here. Oh no, yes, I have them. I have them. Where is my pencil case? My go around kit for I use this one when I want to color somewhere. Cafeteria. You can use a pen like this, and you can go around her eyes to make her pupil more distinct. You can see it better. Ooh. What else I can do here? The greens. I have here the Starjoy set, and that's the one that I'm mostly using right now. This is like Battle Horse. I think it's good. The quality is not necessarily pro, but it's also not necessarily scholar. And if it's for coloring books, I think it's more than more than good. And I normally don't buy big sets. I prefer sets of 36 colors, so I can continue working with my skills much better. I'm going to show you a set of colors that have been with me like 30 years. Uh, Derwent artists. Oof, they, they are so worn out, as you can see. And so colors, I don't get to see the names anymore, but these are also good colors for battling around and having fun. I mix all the brands that I can. If I need a particular color and it's not necessarily in the set that I'm using, I'll go and use another set. Okay, I'm going to pull this up so you can get to see how the eyes are looking. I don't have paint screen, but I do have very dark indigo colors. I kind of recommend dark blues or very dark grays or shadows, much better than black. But sometimes I go and use black in certain areas. I try to keep the whites of the paper because that's another color. This area needs to be a little bit pink. I don't want her to have red eyes, of course. Add some touch of pink here. I chose this girl because I have a graphite portrait made of myself at a park when I was like 4 years old. And I kind of have pigtails, but it's very similar. Eventually, I'll show you that one. It was painted in 1974 when I was 4 years old. And it has lasted for years. And I just love it. I love, and I think that's the first early memory that I have of somebody drawing and being totally amazed by the magic of somebody drawing on paper. And I think since then I've been attracted to coloring and drawing. I keep old recipe books from my mom, and they have my early drawings. Don't have them here handy, but I promise in another stream to show them to you. Let me see, I'm trying not to mix up my colors here. But I know that after stream, kind of have a mess here. Let me tell you, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets of colors around me. I'm not in my mini studio. I'm in the dining room close to my modem, so my streaming doesn't cut that much. And I'm just waiting for my dad to wake up, and he's going to be probably very, very confused about what's going on because he has not had any breakfast. His breakfast is ready, but the kitchen is up there, and he'll probably have to eat standing up because I'm using all the table for for my streaming today. Sorry if my hand is in the middle, but here you go. You can get to see how little by little, by working with a lot of patience, you can build your color layers. And you can notice that this area, well, let me use that color, much better. This area is much worked than this one that has a very, very kind of thin layer. Okay, but I'm going to leave this here. I'll continue with this one, but I'm going to show you a quick trick for other material that you have. I'm going to keep what I'm using out for the face so I don't forget. And let me see if I can. Okay, let me see if I can copy paste. Okay, thank you very much. Mama Juju is coming after me, so I'm going to leave. I'm going to be posting her link frequently, so you can join her. Thank you very much, Thunder. I really like coloring a lot. So what am I going to show you right now is something that you can also use on this type of paper. That is the one that I mentioned at the very beginning. Let me see where I put my paper here. That is this type of cardboard opening thing. This one is in Spanish. It was very popular. You have paper and you have cardstock. The cardstock is much better for what I'm going to use, but I ran out of this one. But still, the paper is thick enough to do very crazy things. And I'm going to show you how that works. And I'm going to take out one of the examples. Okay, so here you go. This is something that I colored in August last year. The image is by Ilene Vick. This is the same paper that I have just shown. It's thick enough, it's not the cardstock. And this one, it's colored using three, um, three types of material. Okay. Hi, Mama Juju. Welcome. We have ink pens. We have this, and we have color pens. So it was kind of a crazy thing to do, but really, really. Let me take out, let me find my ink pens. I have a big set of ink pens, but I kind of chose my favorite colors. But then here I eliminated the tray and I put here. If you're testing new material or somebody recommends material, it's a good idea to start with a 12 set. One of my cats is having the zoomies here right now. So he's just jumping all around. I hope he just doesn't jump here in the middle. As I said, my swatching is not as elegant as Janet's, but it's effective. Okay. And just my favorite colors. Put them here. Use a rubber band that I didn't lose. I'm going to put it safe somewhere. And I'm going to show you this little trick with the flowers. Okay. So if you can recall, I started with alcohol markers here. Let me move. phone and my mouse. Some people hate ink pens, and I tend to love them. There are three ways to use them. One is like this, directly onto your paper. Another one is with a knife. You can kind of scrap a little bit of dust. And the one that is more useful for me for details, it's when you have masking tape. And here, just lay down your color and you can like here you can move the color. It's not permanent if you use masking tape. I have not tried using washi tape. I think masking works better for me. Okay, so let's recap all the steps that I have here. Let me try and use um, kind of a good yellow as well. I kind of make it look easy, guys. I know sometimes you don't think too much about doing things. I have a background as a graphic designer and illustrator, so for 4 years I was with color theory and all those beautiful art things. So I kind of don't think too much about it. Water brush, test how humid it is with your finger. Okay, you don't want it to float. You can squeeze this and get more water, but for me, it's more than that. It's not too wet, not too dry. And then move your ink pens to shadow your petals. The idea is not to cover all the alcohol marker that we did. And you have to work in the same way with ink pens and alcohol markers. So keep your edge humid, wet. And there you go. Hi, Didi. Thank you very much for coming. I'm going to be like Beth right now that I feel so honored that you're here. I'm normally here in the background, not chatting too much, but I'm there. And I love everything you do. My coloring is nothing compared to yours. But one day, when I grow up, I want to be like you, Didi. I want to have all the stencils and all the material there at my disposal. But anyway, so keep the humid edge and still let it dry. It's particularly flat. And you can do the same with your regular markers, water-based markers. You can do exactly the same. You can take, let me see if I have a green. My alcohol marker collection is not very wide. A lot of markers are dry already, so I have to get more. But anyway, let me see, let me test a little bit of this green. Can work. Good enough. Just going to do here a couple of leaves. The good thing about having kind of the first layer with alcohol marker, even if it bleeds, is that this one is not going to be moved around. Then the secret to adding lighter color on top of that color, I think I will use acrylic, probably. Um, I kind of follow the principle of when I color of watercolor, kind of going light to dark, but acrylic oil can go the other way around. So they can be having a dark layer, it's lighter there. And on coloring books, you can do that. I'll show you something in this time. I got some years ago, like 10 years ago, I got this one. It's in Spanish, of course, but art for coloring. So this is like paint your own Monet picture. And you have got here the examples. And for this, I use acrylic ones. The background is pastel chalk, but everything that you can see here, ooh, knocking my camera off. Sorry about that. This is acrylic markers. So if you want to color light and dark, acrylic directly from a bottle or from a pen. I love this one. Not necessarily everything can be um, markers. This one is just color pencils and layers. This book has got. I'm going to show you one that is has got dark outlines, but as you have the reference photo, you can work with light shadow. But there you go. And I'm mixing here different sets of colors. Let me see who else seem to say hello. Hi, Diane. And who else? I think I saw Mama 4. So hi. Oh, hi, Raul. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I didn't have anything tonight. Went to bed early. I'm going to have my main kind of today, but anyway. So let's go back to this tip, okay? So they are working with these things. Alcohol marker first. This one has got Derwent ink sets. It's already worked around. And this one has got alcohol marker. And now we're going to play with this one. And I'm not using a very, very dark color. And I'm going to try another one so you can get to see how you have to do it, all the material that you have. And if you mess up something, don't worry. Anything could happen. Okay. So take another darker. I think my dad woke up. It's going to be like Scott. He's not used to listen to English, so he's like, who are you talking to? As these colors are water-based, same tip, test the humidity of your water brush. If you don't like water brushes like this, you can use regular water brushes. The ones for manicure are very, very good. They're very thin, detailed brushes. And this is another thing that you can use for your coloring books. I'm going to show you the difference of alcohol marker as your first layer, then water-based things. Okay. close up and grab pencil pointer. So there you go. Okay, there. This leaf has got the first layer with this marker and then a darker one. And it splashed. It just moved everything. Hi, Belinda. Good morning. Coming in. So if you want this kind of out of focus effect, you can do it. If you want a little bit more detailed and controlled water alcohol marker, then water-based felt pen, or you can get to see the difference. Messy, more controlled. But remember, the paper is important. You cannot do these on any kind of paper. It has to be smooth. It has to be kind of a very sleek face. Tooth, not tooth, to say something. And there we go. And to finish up, to continue having fun with this particular effect, now you can go back to your greens, to your pinks, and you can finish up. Let's see if I have here a nice dark green. You can add not so much texture, but the advantage here is that your colored pencil is not going to saturate the surface that much. It's going to look very, very subtle. This one is still a little bit wet from the two water-based markers I used, but still as a small leaf, not feel. There you go. And let's finish the petals of this flower with some reds. So again, I'm showing you my bottles. Keeping things like this. Dark red. And for the people who are just coming in, if you want to color this image, you can go to the description of this video and it's going to take you to a Google Drive that has got 3 images. I'm not going to be able to color the 3 images, of course. I'm actually going to switch to another image and probably finish these coloring pages by posting updates on Instagram and Shorts. By the way, thank you. We're breaking record. When I stream, I'm streaming alone with 1 or 2 people. So thanks to the streamathon, I have 30 people live here. I'll try to be more present on Facebook and YouTube this year. I'll try. So there you go. Keep it soft. The only thing that you're going to have at the back is your watercolor. And here you can see the disaster when you use 2 watercolor based felt pens or markers. It's much better. There you go. Interesting. So I'm going to leave this one aside for a minute and take you to another tip and trick for today's stream. And here we're going to go and work with this puppy. This image is also available for you in the Google Drive. It's a puppy image created by Ilene Vick. This is certainly artificial intelligence. And we're going to play with color pencils. And it's going to be a little bit of a coloring paper. This is recycled paper. It's not totally white, something that I like. And there are two tips that I can give you for coloring on paper that is not completely white. First, thank you. You can get a crochet hook. You can get a ballpoint pen, empty, of course. Or you can get one of these tools that are for scoring. Another thing that is good to get, let me see, let me remember in the sets. I have kind of sticking everything back in case it falls. I don't have a disaster here. Okay, I'm going to use the Inktense anymore. I'm going to go for a set of professional items that I have here. Okay. Something that you can get and that I recommend is this is white charcoal. You're going to see why. This is going to be kind of addictive for someone. This is a tip by Lisa Mitrukin. And let's see what we have. First of all, you need something kind of soft to put. I'm using a foamy kind of paper here. You have to be very careful. The thicker the paper, the better. So what are we going to be doing here? We're going to kind of score, indent the whites. And that is going to create a surface that is going to be touched by the color. So I wanted to show you first get a very, very thin crochet hook. It's not very thin, but it's just an example. Okay. Ballpoint pen, sponsored by Bic, by the way, or a scoring tool like this. And then what you do is very softly score a little bit of the hair, white hair, following the line. This soft surface is going to help you control the pressure. Just don't do it so harsh. This is going to keep the majority of the white hairs. So if you go over these areas with your color pencil, they're going to remain white, little white hair. Okay, so doing this around tongue, very, very softly. And I'm not using thick paper. This is an equivalent of printer paper. The thicker the paper, the better. So how does that look? Wait and show you. Here is a little bit thicker, but I think you're going to understand what I mean. Kind of use this around. I'm going to use a dark color so you can see it. So this is what I just scored and indented. And I'm going to go over this area. Okay. And I'm going to put it up so you can see this. Okay. This is fantastic. You can have whiskers, grass, hair, you name it. Okay. And that's the initial step of coloring fur. Now, what about the white coal or the white charcoal? Okay. This one is good if your paper is not 100% white and go around some of the white areas, keep white. You can use bar, chalk, they come in bars, they come in pencils. This is the core hardwood Gioconda white coal. You can get it from Amazon as well, or you can go to the station. So what I'm doing here is preserving a little bit of white of this puppy. Okay, check my time. Like 50 minutes, right, Raul? Less. Then don't forget to go to Mama Juju's. She's coming after me for a lot of fun during this streamathon. So add your charcoal, and that is going to keep colors white, some areas of white. I'm not going to score everything right now. I'm just going to concentrate this area. And I think if I remember correctly, this is the muscle, I suppose. Very specific vocabulary, but there you go. And then take one of these and just push it. You're probably going to get a little bit of that. Just use different Q-tips. I call them Q-tips, but I cannot remember right now the generic name. Here you go. And again, take um, take a photo of whatever you're using. Now, something that I recommend. I remember that we were coloring some skin before the girl. The skin color sets are also good for fur because you have got a lot of colors. Move this one around, show you a little bit. I mean, these browns, these beige colors, in some cases, these yellow portrait colors, they have got beautiful shades for the coats of dogs and cats or other animals. And before we continue with the dog, I'm going to take out and show you a page that I see only a single set. This is print paper, regular print paper. You can get to see here the or indentation for the whiskers. There you go. This is Grayscale, another image by Ilene Vick. I also used a little bit of this trick here in this area of the grass, a little bit in the eyes. And the majority of this fur was colored in the color skin set. So don't be afraid to use different. There you go. We hope you like it. Again, in my comment box, let's see, send it in as a reminder that Mama Juju's is coming after. So what about with fur? The same. Be very, very patient. If you have a reference photo, use the reference photo. Enjoy colored fur. As usual, I normally start with lights and I build everything to blacks. Okay. Well, let me just something to my dad. I don't want to mute myself, but let me mute myself for a little bit. Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm back. My dad was using the microwave and it's a little bit loud, so I had to mute myself for some minutes. Okay, so very light strokes, very, very light strokes to work with your fur. And there is really not a fast lane or shortcut to work with fur, especially if you want the coat of the animal or the pet to be glossy and shiny. You have to really, really work with a lot of patience and stroke by stroke. That's how this is built. That's how we're going to build up the layers and the sockets. So we start with very, very light color. I'm going to see if I have some there. So now I'm going to go into the color. It should be pronounced color because this is phonetic. But anyway, everybody says color, so I'm going to go for that one. going to be using these two colors to continue building the change them. Okay, there you go. Have like 40 minutes. I might not be able to finish this coloring as well, but there you go. If I have enough time for streaming in this new year, I'll probably go back to Saturdays at 9 or 8 a.m. Eastern, just for around 50 minutes. So if you're watching on replay, 50 minutes, you can do a little bit of a speed and see some more coloring tips, new techniques. I'm probably going to be commenting. Very. It's a trick that I learned in elementary school to have two colors at the same time. And I used to be faster. Now I really take my time switching between the two colors. But I like doing this. Keeps your brain agile as you get more years. I don't like to say getting old because we don't get old, we only get more experience in life. I'm going to ask my dad if he wants to say hello. ¿Quieres saludar? He says no. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of fun, right, View? It's around pencils handy because as soon as I can, I'm going to take a photo of the colors that I'm using so I don't forget. I have two or three works in projects at the same time, and then I tend to forget what I was using. Taking the photos is essential for me. I'm trying to keep this area white. I'm going to zoom in very, very soon so you can get to see how I'm building the hair around his nose. Let me just mute myself for 1 minute, okay? Sorry, guys, I'm back. I'm asking if he wants to sit down. Remember that I'm using my dining room, and my dad is just having breakfast, but he doesn't want to say anything on camera. I know he understands what I'm saying because he speaks English, and he reads and understands, but very, very shy. Okay. Yes, View. I love this type of photos, and this one is dark enough for you to get to see how the hair feels around. I'm going to use tree bark color. I'm using the actually look at this. I'm using the skin set from the Star Joy. Oh yeah, let me just show you that one. There you go. This is so cute. I'll try to show you some of my colorings in the last bit. I just want to end up adding a little bit more color here, kind of a brownish color. working towards the outside of his muzzle. As a language teacher for so many years, I've been teaching English as foreign language for around 28 years. I can tell you something that really, really is a struggle for my students is the pronunciation. So they get really, really nuts and crazy when they see words in different spelling with the same pronunciation. So it's really, really fun and hard at the same time. So I don't know if you can see how the color is built. And let me use my hook. And here, I'll try to put it as close as I can. Here you can get to see the areas that I scored, that I indented a little bit before. And the white charcoal is keeping this white. And if you can go back with a pretty color pencil, or again with charcoal to add. Cycle paper has a very good touch, and it's thin, but thick enough to hold different layers. I mean, the only thing that you have to do is to be a little bit patient with your paper. Now, for the dark colors, I'll trying to avoid black, but this dog definitely has got black hairs. So I'm going to go for the darkest brown that I can find. And that's going to be these two in different sets. Something that I don't like about Crayola is that they don't have numbers, they only have names. So I'm going to go for these two. This one is darker. Put it away for a little bit. And sharpen this one a little bit. Sharpen your pencils with love, guys. Sometimes it's good to use different ones to get a pointy. This is not pointy, but anyway, I really don't mind. Anyway, they are going to break eventually. The tips break, but you can have some different uses for broken tips. Okay, so some people recommend having 3 or 4 shades when you're working with grayscale coloring. Thank you, Don. It's available if you follow the link to my Google Drive in the description of this video. So you can print it and you can color along, follow my updates in Instagram and with YouTube Shorts. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Tomorrow I'm going to do home office, I think, because officially I'm not back to the office until Tuesday, but I might be required to do some office tomorrow. So in my breaks, I'm going to continue with these 2 pages and in upcoming streams. Move this one a little bit. In upcoming streams, we'll play with this image that you also have available in the Google Drive. It's interesting because it's this old lady jewels and we have clothes there. They're not, but if you're going to start coloring clothes, um, practice first with the grayscale, and then later you can go to books that only have the outline. Okay, so down here, I'm going to use this one that is dark. Sorry if I'm moving my picture around, but it's my space is reduced. Here I have my pose for my camera. So I have like around, I'm not good in inches, but I'm going to say this in centimeters. I have like 50 centimeters. So it's probably a foot. Yeah, probably like a foot and 1/4 of space. So that's why I'm moving my camera around. But I'm not good with measuring distances. My dad is, but he doesn't want to participate today. He's into his cereal and fruit. He's just looking at me like, hmm, what are you doing? But anyway, in his name, I say hello to everybody and Happy New Year. So there you go. Okay, what about the nose? Well, a lot of people will probably question this, but best, the best black is Prismacolor, and also the best white. But remember that Prismacolor, even if it's a Scholar or Premier, it's very creamy. It lays down like butter, and especially in papers like this. So lay it down when you're ready to use it. This is a very cheap pencil extender. This is my mini Prismacolor black. I have a lot of blacks, but I just wanted to show you. Okay. Thank you, Don. Thank you for coming. Happy New Year to you too. But I'm going to stick right now to, let me see if I can find black here in one of my sets. I'm going to use the black Starjoy that is not that creamy. I don't want to smear this that much. Intense black, definitely the Prismacolor. Just to give an idea, nose, a little bit of hair. Here, hair that is going around the nose. Kind of a fast demonstration here, guys. Just you take more time and enjoy every section that you are coloring. That's what we recommend. I'm going to go and lay down a little bit of pinks for that nose. So I'm using, again, the Starjoys. You can cross hatch, you can do circle movements around your coloring, different directions, take your time to blend. Enjoy how the blending builds up little by little. And touch also the gray areas if necessary. Not because they are gray, they need to be kept like that. They can be also colored. So again, we're starting with very sharp, very, very, very soft strokes or shadows here. And then we can go use a red. Let me just go back to Putting the reds where they belong. Kind of like this red. There you go. This one goes directly into the gray area. I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. Just give me a minute. And once you have put on a darker color, you can go back to the light color on top so you can blend. And there you go. You can see how little by little the color is building. And the good thing about this is that you can intensify the colors. You can also work a little bit more around the intensity of the hues that you like. And play with color combinations until you are happy. The softer your layers, the more colors you'll be able to lay on. It doesn't matter the paper. Don't be afraid of Amazon paper. If you look and it comes on Amazon paper, then what you can do is just print it on cardboard and work around that. That is also good. So I'm entering my last 20 minutes and we're going to kind of leave these two unfinished, but I promise you're going to go and work with them. Enjoy your material. You can work with a different material and you experiment with that. I'm going to show you some examples of things that I've colored. Let me just see one of my pencil cases here so my colors don't fall. And let me show you more or less what I have colored and what you can do with different things. Okay, so put this away. And I'm going to take this up because I'm going to be using paper as well. Okay, so I've shown you this one. Okay, and these are grayscale, different images, colored from different sides. It's probably my box here. So this from a better distance. Okay, so there you go. You can make your screen big also. So we were more or less here. These are plastic holders for your books. I got them from Office Depot. This is one of my favorite images. I'm going to, if possible, take it out. Following a tutorial by Lisa Mitrokin. Color pencils on regular gray printed paper using a lot of whites with the pour-in-or white chalkboard. Some other images that I have been collecting around. This year, practically what I did was just practicing skin. So this girl that we started today might finish as a sister to this other girl. More doggies. This is kind of the brother of the puppy that we are coloring. Grayscale, as I mentioned, helps you a lot in developing your powers of observation. middle. Sorry, guys. Another grayscale as well. Some images that are a little bit impossible, like an iguana in a tutu. I put this one in shorts on YouTube. Another girl practice more skin. So this one took days and lots of blending. But what I'm showing you is printer paper. This is printer paper, guys. So you can work with things like this, another printer paper, kitties, very soft layers. And after you have jumped, uh, let's see, the grayscale, then you can go into things like Kirby Rosanes, okay, and you can do things like this. I changed totally the shape of the orchids because I didn't like them. I didn't like the original drawings. I have colored a lot of things in this book in Animotive. I have some other books, but this is the one that has got more images, more colored images. This one is very, very helpful because you have ink and technically it's also gray scales. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you very much. Some of them have crazy effects, like this one, and the bats. This book is complicated because you're required to do something here. I have not finished the other fish, but this one has got ink pens and color pencil, and the background is just acrylic paint sticking up. This paper is sticking up handle. This one is still a work in process. Unicorns, waves. There's still a lot of shadows needed here. So this would be step number 2. Grayscale, then not so hard grayscale. And then you can go and experiment with books like this by this author, Ilene Vick, I think that's her name. And I never do this. I should, right? I never do that. Okay. What I like about her books is that you have double sets. So half of the book is kind of for you to play and experiment, and then you have the same image, see, same image in the second part of the book. So if you mess something around, you have another one. And you can start experimenting with what you have learned about lights and shadows from gray scale books. So you can get to see the original image. Then with a little bit more practice, you can finish with things like this. Not realistic. If you want to go realistic, then this is what you can do. I love the TV series, so when I saw that there was a coloring book available, I have to buy it. I don't know how many times I have watched the series, okay? But what I know is that the author or the artist traced these images from the stream. So yeah, some of the faces look a little bit weird, but this is the ultimate one to practice your chronic skills. Work in progress. I have not finished this one. Okay, but you have quotes. The paper is very thick. I love the paper. And online, and especially on Pinterest, you can find the scenes or very close to scenes. And let me show you this one. Let's go little by little so you can get to see. This is just color pencil. The paper, it doesn't have a lot of tooth, but it's very, very thick and it's one-sided. So if you are not worried about the quote, you can use markers, but this paper protects the other one. This is one of my favorites, the Three Sisters, and I still can make probably the background a little bit darker, but it was a challenge to color the dresses. I'm going to show you how the images come. This one is in progress. I have the photo. I have not had the time to finish this one because most of this image is in black. So I'm considering acrylics, and there's a lot of shadows missing here. This one is also good. Ooh, I'm just moving my colors. So there you go. And these pages just come like this to show you. The outlines are really, really thin. They're kind of gray. They're pixelated, so very, very good for practicing some real life coloring. Okay. So that's practically what we have for today. Going to give you break, guys, so you can go to have coffee, take a small break. As we mentioned before, we gave tips a little bit for how to work the skin around the eyes. This one still needs a lot of work. Some flowers with alcohol markers, incense, water-based pens as well. How to work with fur, and all these images will be finished next, the next week, hopefully. My term starts January 12th. That's when we go full in classes, full-time classes back again. So I still have some days that I can record some shorts, probably plan some live streams on the weekend. So hi Shannon, coming in. And well, if I go streaming is weekends, Saturdays, probably early morning. I'm thinking about 8 or 8:30 a.m. EST. My schedule is a little bit changing or a little bit difficult. I don't go to light savings time anymore. Mexico decided not to follow that one. So during the summer, I am mountain time. And during winter, I'm central time. So that's why it's difficult to tell you a schedule. But I'll try to be more constant. Okay. So thank you very much for coming. I hope that you have learned some tips and tricks to enjoy your coloring books. Don't get disappointed with paper. Just work with the paper that you have and the material that you have. And if you mess it up, there are a lot of coloring pages to work with. Okay. So thank you very much for coming, guys. I'm going to put Mama Juju's link there on the screen so you can follow her. She's going to be on in 10 minutes. So happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for coming. And I'll see you at Mama Juju's. Uh, I'll say Happy New Year to my dad. Thank you, Brenda. He's looking at all my mess here, and he's like, "Okay, are you going to pick this up?" And yes, of course. So thank you guys. Take care. Bye.